On the Atlanta Hawks today. One of two games left on the schedule before the Bulls take an eight-day break during the All-Star break. We're going to get into all and more, talk about it, have some fun, as only we can do right after this.
You are now tuned in to Chicago Bulls Central, your number one place for all Chicago Bulls news and content.
What's going on, Bulls fans? Welcome to another episode of Chicago Bulls Central, your number one spot for everything Chicago Bulls related. I'm the host here, Haize, but more importantly, you guys can follow the channel at Bulls Central Pod on every social media platform we happen to be on. With that being said, let's go ahead and get into this content. So, Chicago Bulls take on the Atlanta Hawks today, and this is going to be a fun matchup. These games against the Atlanta Hawks are always really interesting games. I won't always call them fun because there have been a couple of rough ones, but they're always interesting games, win or lose, for the Chicago Bulls. These are two teams that weaknesses play into the other team's strengths on both sides of the ball. And so it's going to be interesting to see who makes those chess moves, which coach really makes the right adjustments at the right times, which players step up at the right times. We do know now that Alex Caruso will be out tonight. That's a big thing for the Chicago Bulls, considering how depleted our bench already is. The fact that we're now going to be missing Alex Caruso in this game, of course, I would assume was probably going to get the nod at shooting guard, I would guess, meaning DeMar DeRozan's probably going to be moved up to the small forward. And then you're going to probably have, I'm guessing, Torrey Craig start at the 4, but he's still on a minutes restriction, so maybe they go a Dalen Terry there. Maybe they start Andre Drummond and Nikola Vucevic again together. So, we'll see. Billy Donovan has his options there, but I'm going to be really interested to see how what Billy Donovan does with that starting lineup today. He's gotten a little creative with it here over the last couple of games, so we'll see what he does there. But this is going to be a game where the Bulls bench is going to be all but nothing, right? Because either way you look at it, I would assume who's been starting, he's going to be in that starting lineup either way. You're going to have to bring in another player off the bench to take the spot of Alex Caruso. And, Javon Carter's already been getting DNPs. We got one DNP last game. I think he played, 4 minutes the game prior to that, something like that. So, we'll see who steps up in that case. But this is going to be an interesting game with the Bulls bench. We don't know about Clint Capella. Last I saw, he was listed as doubtful for this game. I don't know if they've officially announced if he's going to be in or out of the game yet. So we'll see how that looks and who they're missing on that side. If the Hawks do end up missing Clint Capella in this game, that's going to be a really big positive for the Bulls, because one thing this Atlanta Hawks team does do is rebound the ball really well. So, we'll see what comes of that. But overall, I'm hoping that the Bulls come in here, they execute. We talked about it a little bit on the pre-recorded video today, but I'll go over some of those numbers again here on the pregame show. So the Hawks are the third best offense in the league. They average 121 points per game, but they're only the 27th best shooting team in the league. They're 8th best rebounding team in the league. They're the 6th most three-pointers in the league, 3-point attempts in the league. They take the most 3-point attempts. They're 17th in 3-point percentage, though, and they shoot the third most free throws in the league as well. So you want to look out for those things, right? So with them scoring, third best scoring offense in the league, that's going to be tough. The fact that they take so many three-pointers, even though they don't hit them at the most efficient percentage, that could be something that could bite the Bulls in the ass. We know how they are with teams that can light it up from three-point range. We usually let teams go off from three-point range, so hopefully the Bulls can overcome that. They're prepared for that. And the most free throws in the league is an interesting point I stuck out here, because if the Bulls do get in foul trouble and if the Atlanta Hawks do get to the free throw line a lot, that's going to extend the game. That can get our players in foul trouble. Now that we know we're going to be missing Alex Caruso on top of everything else, that can make it a little bit more interesting, especially if those fouls come from the perimeter. So those are things the Bulls need to look out for when they're on defense and the Atlanta Hawks are on offense. Now, if you flip that to when the Bulls are on defense, the Atlanta Hawks defense is the second worst defense in the league, period. They allow opposing teams to shoot over 50% on average. That is one of the worst numbers in the league. They also allow for the 6th most offensive rebounds in the league, do the Atlanta Hawks when they're on defense. So that's going to open up some second chance points for the Chicago Bulls if they choose to do that. They allow 11.2 offensive rebounds per game. So really looking for Andre Drummond to have a big night tonight in what he does. And they allow for the 8th most rebounds overall in the league as well. So something to look out for as well. Those are the things that the Bulls can really try to take advantage of in this game. And we'll see if they can. Those are things that they do pretty consistently, the Bulls. So that definitely plays into that for the Bulls. Now, you're facing one of the higher powered offense, but you're facing a terrible defense in the league. Terrible defense in the league. So Shay says Trae Young has got to get shut down tonight along with Murray. What do we win this game? Because nobody else can carry an offense unless it's off the bench. Well, listen, you're not going to shut down both of them. You're not. Now you can slow them down, you can force them to inefficient nights, but you're probably not going to shut both of them down. And even in the games where Trae Young has played terrible against us, he's still gotten off like 20 points. So you want to play solid defense from in that for sure, but you want to be careful in how you do that. So Shay also chips in, if Clint Capella is out tonight, Nikola Vucevic and Andre Drummond have no excuse to not to dominate. I agree with you, brother. Agree with you on that one. Anthony Vargas in the building says, let's see all the players play better tonight. Hey, see Red. Let's hope so. Let's definitely hope so. This can be a big game for seeding, for sure. The Bulls got to come out swinging and not let up tonight. This is a crucial game. You're going to get all your thoughts out all in once there, Delbert. No, I'm just messing with you. A conference foe, which we must vanquish this even. Must vanquish. We're vanquishing people now? That's crazy. Did you watch the Super Bowl last night, Haize? Yeah. Really? You asking me if I watched the Super Bowl? What? Anthony Vargas, bro. Like, I get it. You could have asked about a lot of shit. You could have asked about a Super Bowl commercial. You asked if I watched the Super Bowl. Literally, all you know me from is sports. You think I missed the biggest game? Come on, bro. Did I watch the Super Bowl and you thought you had to tell me who won? Come on, Anthony, bro. What we doing, bro? What we doing, man? Haize, you know I got to come in and say I'm not feeling too great about tonight. I mean, you never feel great about tonight. I don't know. I like, you must be a nervous wreck. You must have bad anxiety. Haize, I'm finna beat you up for being late, bro. First of all, Delbert, you could never could a crackhead beat me up, ever. Nobody named Delbert ever will beat anybody up. You can barely, you're 4'6", 300 pounds. You can barely beat your meat. You talking about beating people up? You ain't seen your dick in 5 years, my guy. What are we talking about? What are we talking about? Kino says, Io shining tonight. Let's hope so, bro. Io's been playing really damn good. Really good. Hey, Haize, what do you honestly think is the ceiling for this team for the rest of the season? Do you think we can get to the 6th seed, or is the 7th, 8th seed our absolute ceiling? Well, I mean, it's hard to say. This team is so inconsistent in their play, right? Like, we see this team sometimes, like for example, the game against the Minnesota Timberwolves, the second half of that game just looked amazing on both sides of the ball when they got in rhythm. And then we see games where they just don't look good against bad competition. So, unfortunately, where this team sits right now, I really can't say. I really wish I can give you an answer to that, brother. I really wish I could, but it's hard for me to call it. I think this team right now, they are 4.5 games back of the 6th seed. That's an Indiana Pacers team that's 6-4 over the last 10. I don't know if we can catch the 6th seed. We would have to play amazingly well. We would have to have the flip of the record we had to end the season in 2021-22, where we won like 7 out of our last like 30-something games. The Bulls would have to have an inverse of that for us to really catch the 6th seed. Now, could they do it? We've seen glimpses of their play that seem like maybe they're a team that can have a much like go on a run in the season once everybody comes back healthy. But then that's another thing too. We keep getting injuries. What happened to Caruso? It was his foot. Ever since Pat the designer talked about Detroit wanting to dip their toe in Zach LaVine, we have had so many foot injuries on this team. It's been ridiculous. We got to have an on-call podiatrist, bro. Like it's crazy. It's crazy. I hope all is well, Haize. Howdy, Bulls peeps. Hope BD makes some good lineup decisions. Not holding my breath from Hamid. I agree with you, bro. Definitely agree with you on that one. What's good, Haize? Looks like Caruso's out. Is it possible that we maybe see big man Sanogo get some minutes on his birthday tonight? Listen here, Bulls for life. I wish I could tell you yes, but the thing is, this is a Billy Donovan coach team. Winton Mahorn, one of the first subscribers to this channel, asked a great question on the video earlier today. He asked, like, hey, Haize, would you rather see, rather than us sign a buyout signing or a buyout candidate, wouldn't you rather see the Bulls give Ernalot Batim or Henry Drell a chance to be a shooter and bring some needed shooting to this team? And my answer to him was, yeah, I would love to see that. But this is still a Billy Donovan coach team. And I don't trust Billy Donovan to play, young players or rely on those players, two-way contract players at all. I just don't. He hasn't done it. Whereas other coaches find like gems with two-way contracts and things like that. We don't even play them. And again, you don't want to rely on playing two-way contract players to like save your season or anything like that. But like we haven't even over a time period where we've lost so many key players to our rotation. We haven't even played our rookies that we drafted well, right? You would think that you draft rookies, you're invested in their development. We haven't even played them consistently. So I can't say that, bro. I can't say that. I would love to be able to say that. I wouldn't be mine, but I can't say that that's for sure, man. What's going on, OTR? Glad to have you in the building. Humble servant in the building says, "What up, family? Haize Sports Bar open, drink specials tonight, competitive basketball, and play the young guys." We got to change the name from Haize Sports Bar to Chi-Town Sports Bar. That's what we need to do. Because like I'm not that guy. Like I know I have this big personality and I talk my shit. I'm not a star. I'm just I almost said the N word. I'm just a dude who loves his team. But the Chi-Town Sports Central Network is the sports bar. By the way, so guys who don't know, so we've had the Chi-Town Sports Central YouTube channel, which is the parent company that I started to house all the podcasts: Chicago Bulls Central, Chicago Bears Central, Chicago White Sox and Cubs Central, Chicago Blackhawks Central, Chicago Sky Central. I know I'm missing NBA Central. I think that's all the channels. But we actually just decided, right? So taking Chi-Town Sports Central, and I wanted to do something. Well, I mean, I wanted to give Steve-O a platform for him to do whatever he wanted. So now, Chi-Town Sports Central, every Sunday, we're going to have roundtable episodes where we're going to discuss all of Chicago sports. The first episode of that was released today over on the Chi-Town Sports Central YouTube page. That's going to be an exclusive to that channel. So it's literally us talking one topic from every Chicago sports team, and it's the whole family. It's me, C-Dub, Bobby, Kev, but it is hosted by the one and only Steve-O, the young gunner. Make sure you guys go and support Steve-O. I think he's going to do some breaking news episodes over there at times and things like that. But if you want a central hub for every Chicago sport, that's what that is. Our live streams for here and the other channels will be there. But as far as the pre-recorded content, you're going to be getting those episodes over there. So make sure you guys go and support Steve-O in this new venture, because I think he's going to kill it. I think it's going to be a great platform for him to get off on. That was a weird phrase. That was a weird way to word that. I apologize to my ancestors and to my family for saying it that way. But it's going to be a great platform for Steve-O to just continue turning into the amazing creative that he is, and he gets a chance. Steve-O's one of the most well-rounded members of the team, and he knows every Chicago sport. So make sure you guys go and support him over there. I'm just going to put a link to it. That's the video. It's I put a link to it in the chat, so you guys can go and support him over there. But I really wanted to point that out. So thank you for that, giving me the opportunity to do that. All right, now with that said, let's get back onto it. We got Brazil Popular in the building. Says, got to watch out for Boogie Johnson and Bey three-point shooting. Listen, Saddiq Bey, he's so spotty, right? It comes in and out. So slight pause. But yeah. We in Player's Choice tonight, bro? No. So Player's Choice is going to be a rare thing. Going to be a rare for the live calls. The show that I'm going to be hosting there on Sundays, it launches in March, so that'll be coming here soon. You could have been busy, Haize. I could have been busy with what? What did I do? Super chat 199. What camera do you use for your videos, bro? I can't tell you that. What are you talking about? No, so which I guess I don't use the other side of the studio that much anymore. I may need to switch cameras. So on this side of the studio, I use a Lumix S1H. On the other side of the studio where I record Locked on Bulls at, I use a Blackmagic Pro 12K camera over there. That's why that camera looks so crisp, because I downscale it to 4K. But yeah, I may need to switch sides now that I primarily use this side of the studio. Hadn't thought about that. So what an ugly shirt. First of all, this is drip, bro. Like, yeah, Benji, I can tell that you can't dress. You're probably one of those people that like, listen, I got a black shirt on. Let me go get let me get some black jeans. I'm gonna wear some black and white shoes, and I'm matching. I'm drippy. No, listen, you got to understand how to dress. You don't know how to dress. It's cool. It's all right. It's all right that you don't know how to dress. Gabriel says 100 spectator at the live, only 6 likes. Hit the like button, guys. Hey, listen, hit the goddamn button. Hit the goddamn button. Delbert says the shirt and hat is raw as hell. Exactly. It doesn't matter what seed we in. We should be happy the young guys will get some experience. No, I mean seeding matters because seeding matters on who you play. I would say that, right? If you want them to have the best path, but I agree with you. The rest of the season is really about development, especially for Kobe White more than anything else, and Io because those are the two young players for a fact are going to get their minutes as long as they're healthy, right? OTR says apparently the Warriors had serious talks about a trade for Caruso. What do you think would have been the best worst case scenario had we traded Caruso to Golden State? I mean, the worst case scenario would have been freaking. I don't even know, bro. Like Moses Moody, like that's why I'm glad. That's what. It's that the Bulls initially had per Casey Johnson. They had trade talks centered around Kuminga. Now that was before Kuminga had. That's when he was playing really bad. But even then, the Warriors said no. They pivoted to Moses Moody, and the deal didn't get done. And I don't know if I would have liked it for that. So. Nah, Haize, you a star for real, bro. All right, listen, I'm not gonna say that I appreciate that, man. I'm just a dude who loves their team. That's it. Chi-Town Sports Bar is now open. Appreciate that, bro. Appreciate that. Our most promising guys in G League did really well in the Windy City game. Batim, Sonogo, and Drell scored 38, I believe. Yeah, I got to get back to doing the G League videos. They'll probably come out. I'll probably do one tomorrow because there's no game or anything tomorrow. I got to get caught up. I'm gonna get back to doing the G League review though because still watch every G League game. I just haven't had time to record on it. I saw that roundtable and it was a great hour and insight. I'm locked into that. I appreciate that. That's going to be exclusive to that channel, and we're going to keep bringing that content at least once a week. So, Kobe bounced back game and we win 5 to 7 points. LOL. I'm just a dude with a prediction. Shout out to Big Disciple there. Somebody really tried to tell me the real Chicagoans don't say Chi-Town. I mean, I don't think a lot do, to be 100% honest with you. The original name of the company was Chicago Sports Central. I just thought Chi-Town Sports Central was more catchy. But I can't say that I've heard a Chicagoan call it Chi-Town personally. Have I? Huh. That's a good question. Sydney says, Haize, is the seating most important or if they made it to above 500? Well, I don't think that they can move up the seating without making it to above 500. So I think they go hand in hand. I think the most important thing is winning. That's the most important thing, regardless of record, regardless of seating, regardless of whatever. Win. That's it. Win the most games possible. That's it. Oh, you could have been busy and not watching the Super Bowl. LOL, I was just talking. Oh, listen, I'm never going to miss the Super Bowl. Never going to miss the Super Bowl. No, hey, he's not gonna lie, I fuck with you, but that shirt and hat looking like melted ice cream. That's fine. Listen, because she said I taste good, so it is what it is. That's a weird bar. It's a weird bar. I'll be honest, Haize. I haven't watched your video from early yet, but I've been in classes and lectures all day. I'm looking to take over this sorry ass FO and run them Reinsdorf pockets. That's hilarious. Hey, well, I hope you get it done, bro. Hope you get it done. Delbert in the building says, all trolling aside, Doggy Haize, you the GOAT. I appreciate that, man. Listen, I'm just here to talk my team, man. What do you think of the future of this team revolving around Kobe, Williams, Caruso, Terry, and Phillips? I mean, listen, the future is brighter than I think some people thought, right? Especially when you have a player in Kobe who has now launched himself into being a legitimate like building block for the future, a main building block for the future. I won't say that he's a player that you can build a deep playoff team around yet. I think you'd have to sustain this over a more period of time. But I mean, it's really good when you look at Io as well. Io's back to being in rhythm and playing really well. So those guys all flash something at points of the season. We just needed to be consistent for some of those guys, right? It's game day. Can't wait to watch us be competitive and watch Trey throw up some bad threes. That's funny. That's funny. The fit's fine, Maze. People just don't know how to dress unless it's all matching colors. That's it. I call it Chi-Town sometimes for fun, like Chi-Town, Sky Town, as one genuine Chicago. I mean, I feel that. I feel that. Hey, I respect you for repping the circus clown fit since we're going against Trae Young. That's hilarious. That's actually funny. When you gonna do a setup tour, bro? I'm interested to see how your office looks with two different sets and what equipment you use. I actually have that on the channel. It's actually one of the first shorts ever posted on the channel. I went through the whole kit and caboodle. That's I almost said shit and caboodle. That doesn't sound right. But I can do another one because I made some changes and upgrades since then. So I can definitely do another one. But one of the first shorts I ever posted on this channel was doing a tour of the studio. Not much has really changed since then. It was short tour of the sanctuary is the name of it. I posted December 30th, 2021. So that would have been the first season that this channel started. So, but yeah, I can do another one because I made definitely some changes since then. Javon Carter better not shoot again. He's going to. That's the thing. He's going to. Do you think the Bulls could miss the play-in this year? Or are they most likely making it? Listen, I think they're most likely making it the way that they've been playing, right? Over a 50% win percentage literally since the month of December. So we've been playing in on that pace. So I think there's a better chance than not that we'll make it, but there's also always a chance for collapse. And that's the thing that makes it scary, right? Is that we've seen this team before after the All-Star break win 7 total games after the All-Star break. We've seen it go 14-9. We've seen a lot. So I think that right now I'm going to say it's a better chance than not that they make the play-in. But with injuries and things piling up for this team like we've seen it done, anything's possible, unfortunately. Io's been averaging close to 20 points per game when he starts. You know what? That honestly doesn't surprise me. Let's see what Io's averages are when he starts. Because I wouldn't be surprised if they're actually, because Io just seems to, he's gotten his confidence and poise back, right? And I think we kind of sometimes forget that as spectators of the sports, like confidence does play a big part of it. Looking for like Laurie when you're like, how big finding his rhythm and his place. So I think that definitely plays a part in it, sometimes a larger part than what we realize. And let's hope that, listen, Io has been great in his role, averaging almost 10 points per game as a starter this season. 12 games he started. He's averaging 11.8 points per game. He's doing that on 50% shooting from the field and 43% shooting from three-point range. And keep this in mind. He's taking 4.5 3-pointers per game. So it's not like he's averaging 40% shooting from three and only taking like 1 or 2 a game. He's taking a nice amount of 3-pointers per game. He's averaging 3 rebounds, 3 assists, right under a block, and over a steal per game, also as a starter. Io is playing goddamn well. Damn well. With all the other teams getting better year after year, it looks to me like the Bulls might unintentionally tank next season just based on off how bad they're likely going to be. Is that possible? Here's the thing. So I don't know. Don't know if I'll call it an unintentional tank because this team is still going to be trying to win basketball games. And there's nothing that AK has shown other than that. But you do offer a really poignant thought process through it, is that everybody who's saying that the Bulls are going to be terrible next year, because keep in mind, we're right up against the luxury tax. We're not going to have a whole hell of a lot of money to spend. Maybe that's by design. Because think about it this way. If the Bulls do lose Andre Drummond for nothing, yeah, it sucks. And we can't really replace what he brings via that. So maybe you end up having to play Adama Sanogo, right? So now you're playing one of your young guys. You have to develop them. Let's say we do lose DeMar DeRozan. That's going to free up a little bit more, but we still have to re-sign Patrick Williams. So then we don't necessarily have the money to replace what DeMar DeRozan brought. We can sign a vet minimum contract or a little bit of our mid-level exception, but then that's potentially going to open up more minutes for Julian Phillips, Patrick Williams. And then you're going to play and develop those guys more. And then through developing those guys, you may be a worse team, but then that pick that you owe to the San Antonio Spurs, which is top 10 protected, maybe you get it. So if that's what you meant by unintentional, you may have just given me the topic for tomorrow's video. You may have just given me the topic for tomorrow's video. All jokes aside, I've never thought about it that way. Shout out to Bulls for Life, bro. Hey, yo, Bulls for Life may have just figured out what AK's master plan is here. Probably not, because AK is weird, but hey, listen, great there. That's crazy. That's crazy. Is Trae Young the most sickly looking professional athlete? No, Tony Snell is still a professional. Well, I guess he's not signed to the team. But look, first off, shout out to Trae Young's dad for coming through the show. Trae Young's pop said, lay off his son. He's out here working his best. He's trying his hardest. And you can't tell me that this doesn't look like what Trae Young looks like. Every time Trae Young gets eliminated from the playoffs, this is how he looks walking back to the locker room. It's tough, man. It's tough. He be sick. He be sick. Sick motherfucker. But it is what it is when it comes down to it. Jiggy Josh in the building says Bulls for Bull. You killing me? Why? Jiggy Josh, serious question. Why do you spell it with a Z? Why? Why do you spell it with a Z? But Bulls for conference final. Listen, if the Bulls makes the conference final, Jiggy Josh, I will buy you whatever piece of Bulls merch you want for anything less than $75. If the Bulls make the conference finals this season, any piece of Bulls merch you want, $75 or less, it's yours. Don't even worry about it. Mike, shout out for a little bit there. Hold on. Is it good now, though? Let me know. Let me know. I think I'm going to have to replace my my interface. I think I'm going to have to replace the interface. If Lord willing, Lonzo returns to being starting point guard, what you think we should do with Mr. Whitewood? He won't be. There's no way that Lonzo's starting next season. He's just not. He's going to be on such a minutes restriction and not being able to play back to backs. There's just no way you can make him your starting point guard. He's going to be too inconsistent, even at his best. They're not going to play him on back to backs. He's probably going to have a minutes restriction the first few months of the season of 25 to 28 minutes. I don't think there's a way that he can be your starting point guard next year. I just don't see it happening. Have you seen Lowe's most recent video on the Bulls? In my opinion, he hit the nail on the head, except for the fact that we should blow it up. Well, the thing with Lowe is that I don't watch very much Lowe because, first of all, he's obnoxious. His hairline's terrible. And while he knows some sports, right, I'll say this. He knows the NBA. When he tries to do the team-specific shit, I can't fuck with it. So we don't have to re-sign. We don't have to, but we will. But we will. It's definitely going to happen. Simba, what's going on, Simba? Glad to have you in the building. If Lonzo does come back, I hope he can at least be a 3-and-D guy. Well, I mean, people have made the comparison to Sean Livingston, right? And I think that's a big one because Sean Livingston came back and had to change his game completely. Now, Lonzo's game isn't based hugely off athleticism at all. But here's what I'll say is that the cutting, the taking angles that he took, that is a lot of that's based off playing good defense is based off your is from your base, right? Being sturdy and having that low center of gravity. His knee being part of that is gonna hurt for a while, right? And so I don't know the mental part of the game, the reaction time mentally and stuff is probably always going to be there, but as if his body and him adjusting to what his body can and can't do is going to be really the taxing part on him mentally. So we'll see. We'll see. Listen, I'm not knocking it. I hope that Lonzo can come back and be great. I really hope he can come back and be great. So the more I read up on bone marrow edema, the less I like it. Nothing's saying short recovery, mostly says 4 to 6 months recovery, and then not supposed to be on it. Crutches are normal. I mean, we'll see, man. I really hope that in 2 weeks we'll see it. Have to come to Dubai to do a Bulls podcast tour. Bulls out here on the plane. You know, funny enough, Dubai is my dream vacation spot. Like that's this, most of you guys know I grew up in Europe. I grew up in Italy and Germany. You know, I've been to so many places in Europe, but the place that if I can pick any one place to travel to, would be Dubai. I really want to go to Dubai. Really want to go to Dubai. Just getting here. Sorry if you spoke on it. Thoughts on former Bull Daniel Gafford first start with the Mavs. They looked amazing against OKC. I mean, listen, Gaff, when Gaff can focus, he's much like Andre Drummond in the sense of when he doesn't have to do more than what he's great at. He looks elite. And I don't say that it sounds like I'm saying it like as a backhanded compliment. I don't mean that at all. I would literally mean that Gafford is so good at what he does well. When you can eliminate any and everything else, when you can eliminate as many things as you need to and let him just focus on what he does well, man, will that dude look great? Not just good, he'll look great. And that's the thing that he's going to be able to do there in Dallas, especially now that they brought in PJ Washington as well, and PJ being the small forward, power forward who can do some shooting, those type of things, and the offensive focus on that. It's going to allow Daniel Gafford to just focus on what he does well. And Luka and Kyrie are going to get him the ball. There's no question about that. They are going to get him the ball when he gets out in transition and things like that. So Gafford is going to look really good with the Mavs, I feel, really good. He was a good dunker, but he wasn't like a Zach LaVine where he plays hugely above the rim. He just didn't. I think AK got something up his sleeve. Either he knows a way he's going to dump Zach's contract, or he knows Lonzo isn't coming back. Either of those things must happen if he plans to keep DeMar. Well, the thing is even in if we get word, so let's say in the offseason, when they try to start ramping him up again and he just can't ramp up, he needs to immediately file for the career-ending injury exception immediately. Because if you can get that filed and it can kick in by the time free agency starts, that means that it wipes that contract from the books. We still got to pay him, but it wipes it from the books. That would completely change the outlook of the Chicago Bulls free agent period. Now, if they just re-sign everybody they already have here, it doesn't really change the team much. So they got to be willing to still do some things with it, but we'll see. Now, let me tell you, as someone that has family in Dubai, they are all trying to leave, laugh my ass off. It's very Instagrammable, but you can have more fun in places like Thailand or something. Listen, Thailand also, but never mind. I'm going to hit me up off this, and I'll tell you the joke I was going to make about Thailand and Pat the designer. I was going to make a joke there, but I'm not going to make it on air. So Gafford and Drum are sandbox kids, as my old coach would say. I like that, right? And it is. And like I said, it sounds like I kind of mean it as like a backhanded compliment. I really don't, but they are just so good at what they do. And when you allow players that have that are elite, as I won't necessarily say Gafford's elite at it, but are great at something, and you allow them to just do that great thing, it's funny how much of their shortcomings you either can overlook or there's just aren't evident on the team, right? So I think a big part too, like even the shortcomings that Andre Drummond has, which aren't a whole hell of a lot, really, is getting in foul trouble at times, and is that sometimes he's going to be turnover prone and he's going to be inefficient every once in a while. But if we would have ever had healthy Lonzo Ball and healthy Andre Drummond on a team together, I think that combination defensively, the lobs, the things like that would have been such a, keep in mind, Lonzo Ball, the pick and roll with Lonzo Ball and Derrick Jones Jr. was killing for the Chicago Bulls for a period in time. You replace that with Andre Drummond, if Lonzo was healthy, Jesus. What could have been? What could have been? That could have been nasty. That could have been nasty. But hey, woulda, coulda, shoulda, man. You guys know I don't like to stay on that, but that's crazy. That's crazy. Mr. Noid in the building says, Haize, I just want to win tonight. Don't care how we get it. Just get the dub. I mean, a lot of people share that opinion in general with this team right now. Just find a way to get that damn win. That's it. Get the win. Is there anything in this next draft class worth looking at? Thinking AK Bulls will get a mid-first round and then try to pull someone off the second round like he's Joker. Well, here's the thing. We don't have any second-round picks. I don't know if the Bulls are going to make trades for second-round picks either. So I won't say that the second round's a foregone conclusion. But here's what I will say is that this is where your scouting department can be big at. Because while there's no like huge superstar level prospects in this draft, the draft with Tyrese Maxey and Halliburton were supposed to be a weak draft. That was supposed to be a weak draft. And look at what Halliburton has turned into. So you got to do your scouting. You got to do your scouting. Now, I will say this. There's a shooting guard in this draft, and there's a center in this draft. The Bulls right now will pick around 11. And if they make it in the play-in tournament and they get eliminated, they're basically a lottery team at that point. So there are players in this draft that I really would like. So Reed Shepherd is one that I really would like for this team. Now, he's a smaller guard. Now that Kobe White has really ascended, and we got Io as well, the Bulls may not look at him. He's one that I'm really going to look at heavily in this draft class. But Kyle Flipowinski, I believe is how you pronounce it. Again, not any type of, I'm not projecting him to be a starting level center or anything like that. But if I'm going to compare anybody to Walker Kessler, it's him. He's a legit 7-footer, 250 pounds. This guy can do, listen, when we talk about players that just have just that thing that they do well, if we do lose Drummond in free agency and we can draft Kyle Flipowinski, I believe is how you pronounce it. I'm murdering the guy's last name. You guys know, once it gets to too many syllables, I get to fucking up. But he's a sophomore at Duke. this guy has the big man fundamentals down. And I think that the Bulls could take a look at him because, again, center is one of those positions that we just can't replace unless they're extremely high on Adama Sanogo. And then Kevin McCullough, I believe is how you pronounce his last name, 6'7" guard, shooting guard out of Kansas. He's projected to go around the 20s. So even if the Bulls do, maybe shock some people, maybe make it out the play-in, he's a guy that I think the Bulls could really draft. This guy, he has some two-way ability is what I'll say. So there are, again, players that you can look at and say, I'm not saying that these guys have superstar level talent. I'm not saying that. But I do think the guys that I mentioned here have the potential to be players that can be solid rotational players on your team. And in a weak draft, that may be the best that you can do. They all got some upside as well. So we'll see, though. We'll see. Bro was gonna make a joke about that. That's actually, I didn't even think that. For the first time in my mind, it wasn't a gut in the gutter joke. It was just I don't want to put nobody's personal business out there joke. That's what that was. So not in the gutter joke. So I promise you it wasn't. I didn't even think about that, bro. That writes those jokes write themselves. Haize, I hope that you and the family are well. The Bulls don't really have enough scoring punch. Why did I think see love there? Have enough scoring pinch right now. So the defense has to be top tier in order to beat the good teams. I mean, I think the Bulls have enough scoring to be dangerous against a team that's one of the weaker defensive teams in the league. But it will take Kobe and DeMar, unfortunately, to really go off. Now we can get efficient nights from Vooch and Ayo Dosunmu as well, who's shown some scoring ability. I think we can do enough, but I agree with you. You got to dig into first. If you can dig in defensively, that's going to make a lot of things easier on you for sure. Man, low-key, I wouldn't mind Dalen Terry starting in place of AC just to throw him to the Wolves and see how he fares. I mean, last time we started him, he did pretty well. It wasn't amazing, right? It wasn't like anything you call home about, but he played pretty solidly. So we'll see, man. Anything's possible. Anything is possible. I thought AK had something up his sleeve until I saw the press conference and his dumbass smile. That's crazy. That's crazy. Who do you think is going to lead the team in points tonight? I mean, DeMar DeRozan's always a safe bet. Just is. It's always a safe bet. So Cannon, we have a first round protection on that Portland pick until 2028, if I'm not mistaken. So after that point, it turns into 2 seconds. But if I'm not mistaken, I'm going to search it real quick because you guys know I like to give you guys the facts, especially when I'm not 100% sure. But I believe we have that pick into 2028. Yes. So we have its top 14 protected until 2028. If we don't get it in 2028, that's when it converts into 2 second round picks. So there you go on that one. Damn, low key, Kuminga would have been damn near perfect. I mean, Kuminga would have been a nice one to get. Definitely would have been a nice one to get. Say Philly as in Philadelphia. Philawaski? That's how you say it? Philly Posky? That's wait, what? That's crazy. After watching the Chiefs win the Super Bowl again, one day I pray us Bulls fans and Bears fans can experience something like that in this era, but I'm going to be a while. They care only about money. I don't think the Bears are about caring about money. I just don't. I can't put them all together. And again, you can care about money and still win. The problem with this team not winning isn't because of ownership only caring about money. It's because we have a front office that made bad decisions. That's just my opinion on it. So I think Kobe has a really good game today. If he can attack Trey, I'm going to call Kobe for 30 plus. Let's see if it happens. I'm sorry. I love watching Dalen. It's like riding a roller coaster because it feels like disaster is about to happen, but it's usually okay. That's a great way. That's a great organized chaos. I doubt the front office is smart enough to grab Kyle, but I loved him on our team. Listen, I mean, they may have to out of necessity, right? Because Kyle is like if you lose Andre, and I love the fact in the NBA that free agency happens before the draft. Wait, no, that's the NFL. I wish that in the NBA free agency happened before the draft because if we knew that Andre Drummond was leaving for sure, and they may know by the end of the season, but if we knew that it was going to happen for sure, then we they probably would draft him or another young center in the draft. There's some good power forward prospects, right? Like Tyler Smith, who's currently playing in the G League. He's 6'7", but only 215. I don't necessarily see him projecting as a center, but Kyle Filiposki, did I say it right? Did I get it? That dude is nice. Like I said, I won't say monster. I don't want to over exaggerate or anything, but he's nice, and he's a player that you can really see. He's still young too. He's 20 right now, so he'll be 21 his first NBA season. He's a guy who you know what you're going to get, but he still has enough of room to still grow there where he can turn into more. So just for reference, so right now in the collegiate season, he's averaging 17 points per game, 8.2 rebounds, 3 assists, and he's doing that on basically 50% shooting from the field. Again, not crazy numbers. But here's another thing that you could round out in this game. He's a solid 3-point shooter. Not the one that you don't want him to do the Vooch, right? You don't want him to start taking threes as part of his game. But if teams leave him open, he can drain a three. He's 36% from three right now on taking 3.5 of those per game. So I really like the guy. And I think that he could turn out to be one of those players that you look back on a weak draft and say, hey, he's not a star, but he's a damn good player and he's tough. He's a tough traditional big man that still can stretch the floor a little bit. I like those type of centers, man. I like those type of centers. Haize, I was in the military and I'm still traveling all over the world. Be careful in the Muslim Islamic countries. They have very strict laws and rules, especially for foreigners. Bro, I lived overseas my whole life, basically. So I know. I know you got to be careful. I know, because they will catch you slipping. And if they catch you slipping, it's not going to be pretty. They ain't gonna catch me slipping. Starters are out for tonight. Ayo Dosunmu is actually starting at the point guard. Kobe White is at the 2. DeMar DeRozan, Torrey Craig, and Nikola Vucevic is your starting center tonight for the Chicago Bulls. So there you guys go. That's the starting lineup. I thought he may go Torrey Craig. I was a little bit doubtful on it, though, because of the minutes restriction Torrey Craig is on. But that's the starting lineup that makes sense. Surprised they're starting Ayo at the 1, though. I guess it gives Kobe an opportunity to play off ball. But I think Ayo's been pretty solid off ball. So we'll see. I would like to see Craig adopt more of a Thad Young type of offense. He would benefit heavily from that. I mean, listen, that at this point, Torrey Craig is who he is. He's a veteran in this league. He's been successful as what they do. So yeah. Dion says, I'm really hoping DeMar doesn't come back. He's a good leader, but just not on the court. There are a lot of people that share that with you. Wow, Billy making big changes. That's funny. Oh, you're absolutely right. That Brazil, I'm an idiot. You're absolutely right, because, yeah, putting Ayo at the 1 to play with Trae Young and to have Kobe guarding DeJounte kind of makes a lot of sense there. Oh, he's not on the minutes restriction anymore? Oh, well, then shout out to him. When are they supposed to reeval P. Will? He's still in that boot. They said, 4 weeks? They said 2 to 4 weeks. And that was almost 2 weeks ago. So we probably won't know. Keep in mind, we have a week off for the All-Star break. We won't hear anything about about Patrick Williams until we come back from the All-Star break on the 22nd. That's probably when we'll know something about the All-Star break. Don't expect to hear very much until then. Just don't expect to hear much till then. So, that's what it comes down to. Once I saw how things kind of went, that's the thing that made the most sense. So next time that we could possibly see Patrick Williams would be that Boston game on February 22nd. Be on the lookout for that. And if we don't see him then, because that's a Sunday, they may wait till that following Tuesday against Detroit, which Detroit is always good to get a tune-up in after returning from injury. So BKR says, Trae Young is a cat, and we've been winning by 10 plus tonight. Thanks for coming. Good night. Drive home safe. Hey, from your mouth to God's ears, bro. Never forget, Ayo puts his foot in Trae Young's ass every single. Can we stop dipping our foot in people? No more feet in people's orifices. Can we stop that? What do you think of the starting lineup? I think it makes sense. It's a solid starting lineup. Dalen has a unique style for sure. That's why we call him Wild Magic, because it's like he has video game attributes, which give him 75% success, 25% disaster. That's crazy. If we're going to remain competitive, LOL, Joe Harris or a similar type of shooter is what the Bulls need. Javon Carter, mad, inconsistent, even with the decision making. I agree. Completely agree with you. Casey Johnson just reported Javon Carter saying he is surprised by his limited role thus far and wants to play ball. Who's going to tell him to stop playing like trash to get those minutes? Hell, his mama needs to. His mama needs to. But all right, y'all. I appreciate you guys so much for tuning in to the pregame show. I'll be back at halftime, so make sure you guys stay tuned in. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel as well. We're trying to get to 20,000 subscribers by the end of the season, so make sure you guys hit that subscribe button. But otherwise, I love you guys so much, man. Make sure you guys are following the show at Shy Bears at Bull Central Pod. You guys can send any feedback, questions, comments, concerns. ChicagoBullCentral@gmail.com. And then lastly, if you want to leave a text message and or voicemail, 773-270-2799. Like I liked in everything on Go Bulls. Love you guys. See Red, and I'll see you guys at halftime, y'all.